Hello and welcome to Conversations with Nurit. I am Nurit and I'm speaking with you today from Budapest, Hungary. And my guest today is Robert Young and he's speaking to us from Santa Barbara. Welcome, Robert. It's wonderful to finally talk to you on the air here.
Yes, thanks, Nurit. Good to see you.
Yeah.
We haven't formally met apart from this conversation.
I know.
So, I feel I know you though because Barbara talks about you.
Yeah. Well, we spoke briefly 2 years ago, and I met you online through Barbara.
That's right.
Who's been a friend of mine for years and years. So finally, I got to meet you briefly a couple of years ago. But as I was saying, I have more online friends now than people in person. So, but it's good, you know. When we're children, we have imaginary friends, and we grow up, we have virtual friends. Who knows which is real?
That's right. or which will last the longest.
Yeah, exactly. So Robert is a speaker and an author. He is also a man who introduces us to the world of magic and miracle. And it's very exciting. I just read your book. The book is called Your Personal Supercomputer. That's the one I'm referring to. Robert has other books as well, which I will post at the credits. But that book is really, really wonderful. It's short. It's so easy to read. It's entertaining because there's wonderful anecdotes and stories, but it really drives the point home. And it's so inspiring. You know, one of the lines that I like in it was, you don't learn much, but so much will be revealed. And that is exactly how I felt when I was reading it. I wasn't approaching it in terms of getting more knowledge. That wasn't happening, but a lot was being revealed, and it was wonderful. And I love that it feels to me like your whole premise is simplicity. And I love that in this complex world of confusion, as you say, this is exactly what we need right now. And my second favorite thing in your book is how you consistently bring a union or a marriage between our own being and the physical world. And to me, that's worth gold. So anyhow, if you can tell us in your words, Robert, your personal supercomputer, what exactly do you mean by that? So everyone knows that everyone's on the same page with us.
Well, that's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's one of those things that everybody knows about. They know there's something special inside them. They know there's something that affects things around them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know how to access it. And in fact, it's not something you work with, it's something that works with you. Mm-hmm. So all the mysteries in your life, the synchronicities and all those things, come from a million little snapshots that your supercomputer takes to determine what's going to be best for your future. Mm. And to also change the world around you. There's a part of that whole supercomputer that's connected to the universe, and it actually changes things to suit your path. Mm. And it also has the ability to maintain your security without you knowing anything about it. Mm. One of the greatest things is when you see it happen in another person's life. They usually can't see it themselves, but you can see all the brilliant things happening to them, and the fact that their world is changing because of, you think maybe it's their attitude or the way they see things, but in fact it's the way that personal supercomputer is actually active in the light-hearted approach that each person has to their life. And so when I try to explain it, you can't use regular words.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing you can say is little stories that indicate what's happening. Mm-hmm. And many of the small and short stories that I used in that book came out of nowhere as I was typing. Just a picture of, yeah, that's what it means. Or another picture of, yeah, that's what the supercomputer does. But it's portrayed by a story rather than a set of words to describe it. Because it's the magic that comes from that that keeps us all alive and keeps that brightness in our eyes. And as we work with it more, we find that it's so easy to use because it works on a formula that is called simplicity.
Yeah.
Simplicity is the actual language that talks to it. So the simpler you are with everything, the more complex the operations of your supercomputer can be. So if you approach something in a really light-hearted manner and start throwing magic around, it actually works. And it's because of the simplicity and not even inquiring how to do anything that it can work freely. And it reaches into all areas in your life, in your world, in your universal connection. And it doesn't rely on any belief systems. It simply works because it's simple. And I think the biggest thing is, it's like, you know, the Rolls-Royce used to be the classiest car you could get. Beautiful soft seats and a nice ride. Well, now, if you get a person to go and have a look at a Rolls-Royce, they look for that comfort. They want to sit in it. They want to feel it. They want to go for a ride. They don't care how it works. And they don't necessarily need to drive it. They want to be driven. Because it's the comfort and the intention. If you say, I'd like to go downtown, the driver takes you downtown and you enjoy the ride and you don't look at the detail. This is the sophistication of simplicity. So that what's provided for you is there for you to enjoy. But it can't be enjoyed if you're trying to find out how it works.
Yeah, I guess that would be that the mind's trying to interfere and figure it out.
Yeah. So there's no rules. It's just be a connoisseur of life in every aspect at every time, and you'll start to experience your supercomputer in every way.
Yeah, I love how you talk about the children, how they naturally have that, and how we can connect with them better and fulfill their desires by connecting with our own personal supercomputer. It's very beautiful to watch how children have it just like that, so naturally. And you also give a wonderful warning not to superimpose our experience on them when it's happening. And I found that very important.
Yeah. The influence we can have on the children is something that has been studied for thousands of years. But you only have to follow the spirit of the child. You don't have to study anything.
I believe that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know, there's one of our streetcars here in Budapest. They started having a child make all the announcements of what stop it is and what's coming next and what the connection is at this stop. And it's changed my whole experience of riding on that streetcar. I don't want to go on any other streetcar or any other subway. It's so refreshing, and the little kids on the streetcar start to imitate it now, and everybody joins in, and it's like a party. It's a completely different frequency.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
there's a lot of experience that you get from your own observation, but you can't get anywhere near as much as if you join the spirit of the child and get their observations. And if you've ever watched the child playing, they're really ready for you to interfere because they're running around following their spirit in their own world, and you look at them and they stop. They look back at you. They might send you a beautiful message in a fraction of a second, and then they're off again chasing their spirit. But they do look for a fraction of a second like there's a little bit of fear that you're going to stop them.
Yeah.
And if we can get past that, we're actually going to drop all our limitations.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any.
Yeah.
There's a lot of points of discussion that you can go into, but if you actually do it, there's nothing to discuss.
Of course. Nothing like direct experience. Yeah. I love what you say about the child. A movement happens first, and the child follows that movement naturally and spontaneously. And I love that. I feel like I've been starting to do that, like to watch to see what calls me, instead of, okay, well, now I'm going to do this, or now I'm going to do that. And imbibing that spirit is it's very freeing, actually.
It is, yeah. And that's one of the little exercises that I spoke about in the book, where you actually decouple your field. That's something new in a lot of people's books. But what it does is it enables you to actually live the magic. By actually uncoupling, you still have everything so it can move and connect, but it's not locked, it's not a fixed frame. Then in between, in that moving part of your being, the magic can exist. In a fraction of a second, you just start flinging your energy around all over the place. In a fraction of a second, you get this buzz. It's actually the magic. It heals you instantly and allows you to connect. And you don't care where you're connected to or what it's about, because it's a part of your being that you've stifled since you're a child. And it happens at about 3-year-old. Everybody gets stiffened up.
Yeah. Can you give us some examples of how you, some of the exercises, for lack of a better word, I don't like to call them exercises.
There's no rules, but if you use your imagination and see your energy like a cloak hanging over your shoulders, that you can just wiggle backwards and forwards, and you can feel the coat flow backwards and forwards and move. And then after a while, your energy will do that. And you can start to fling it out a bit further and let it flop up and down. You can get it to make patterns. And then you can get it to actually stretch way out and touch the trees, and come back and fly up past the trees. And the further you start to move all this, the better you feel. And you can actually use that energy to balance you, just like spinning a top. You spin the energy and you'll stand perfectly still. You'll have no problems moving your body either. You can throw your energy in the air and it'll pull you out of the chair.
Wow.
So you lead with the energy field and it takes your body with it. I've demonstrated it to so many people when we're walking in the woods or the bush. You can throw your energy forward, hook it onto a tree and just wind it in, and it'll pull you up the hill. You can ask the energy of the earth then, because you're decoupled yours, to come and sit up underneath you, and you can feel it come and sit underneath your backside and lift you, take your weight as you're walking. Used to play with them. When I had the kids in the car, I would hook onto the back of a bus or the back of a truck just by throwing the energy out, and I could take my foot off the accelerator. And the kids would jump up and down and say, do it again, do it again. And you can go up, you can go up a hill even, just by maintaining that energy hooked onto something else.
Wow.
So the simplicity of it is to allow the part of you that you haven't really used before to become flexible enough so that it doesn't need to hold your body together. You know, I mentioned if somebody cuts a finger off or something, they can still feel the finger. Because that field is so stiff, it still holds the same form. But if you allow the movement and something like that happens, you don't need to feel the finger because you're feeling your whole being that's everywhere. And you can actually project that energy to any place at any time. And you can see yourself there. And other people will see you as well. So we're playing with magic.
And the source of that energy, is that coming from within the body?
Now it's part of your being, that mystical being that's bigger than you, that is actually working closely with the body and communicating all the time. For every movement, not even thought. It communicates with the supercomputer. And when you're talking about within the body, it's a bit hard for me to restrict it to the physical looking body. It's we're much bigger than that. And the energy that we have, and they're starting to prove it scientifically, we have more energy in this little body and the bit around it than you have in the major power stations in your city.
Wow.
It's just a different format. And it's not aggressive.
Yeah.
The calmer you are, the more energy you exude. It's the opposite to what you think. And notice this with athletes as well. As an athlete starts to relax, their strength increases.
Yeah.
So all the rules that we've been working with are actually the reverse of what is true.
No wonder you say we need to forget what we learned and start fresh. Yeah. There's something, I think it relates to that in your book. I like this very much. You say, the greatest function in our logic that can bring about change is proof. And the greatest tool we use to overshadow proof is verbal programming or analysis. We convince ourselves every few minutes that we cannot do things and that nothing can be done without knowing how.
Yeah.
I love that. Can you say more about that for us?
Yeah, well, when you start to look at the times when you were young, say you were about to jump off the top tower of in the swimming pool, and you stand there and you question yourself, and you never do it, you go back down. But if you just go straight up and jump off, you get a great thrill. You didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to work on it. You didn't know how. But you did it because every bit of information that you need comes with the movement. That's how you discover what to say about anything. Because in that package, that moment, right at that time, and not a fraction of a second before, all the data is there. So if you want to find out how to do something, you have to do it.
Not like what they teach us, think first before you talk. Yeah, it's true. Everything we learn pretty much is we learn backwards.
And then you have to go and sit down and listen to somebody teach it to you. And it just comes naturally. Yeah.
And then we try to learn what you're talking about the same way that we learn everything else. It just doesn't, it's not the same dimension at all.
No.
Yeah.
And we're transmitting all the time. So whatever we have done is available to everybody. So it's just like putting it in the big tape recorder in the sky. Before you finish recording, somebody's already stolen it.
Yeah.
How many times have you thought of something and then you look it up and somebody else has done it?
Yeah, it's true.
And that's because we're transmitting all the time, and everything belongs to everyone. And we do know what one another think. And we do know what one another are doing. And we work in dimensions all the time. We create little dimensions of ourselves. You know, we've got one here now. We're talking and there's nobody else around. And if you're talking in a crowd, you can be 20 people and 2 or 3 people can decide to talk to one another, even being a long way away from one another, and they set up a little dimension. And nobody really knows what they're talking about, except that. And then if somebody tries to break in, they push them out. So we're really skillful in lots of areas, but we don't realize that we're actually multidimensional. And we consider that we can't do those things unless we can see. But you can do exactly the same thing 1,000,000 miles away and still communicate. And still feel and see and know. It's just a matter of getting used to it.
Yeah. That's getting used to it. I believe that would probably be a key thing for people to be able to reconnect. Do you find that people are very receptive to this, or do you find that the people with such busy minds, they just don't know how to stop the mind long enough in order to experience this?
Well, that's one of the things that I think is the key to everything. And you need to give your world the fraction of a second that it deserves. Because people don't open their barrier for the 0.2 of a second it takes for the information to come to them. They just won't let anything in. It's like they feel like the balloon's going to pop. And it will. So if you allow the part of your being in that's mystical just for that fraction of a second, it will take over your life.
Mm.
And that's what people are afraid of.
Yes.
Because that mystical part of you is thousands and thousands times bigger than the bit we're living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once it does get to the point where it can have a position in your life, it presents a better life, and your old one disappears. So there's a point where you feel lost, but in fact, it's a whole new world. You've stepped out of one and into another, just like you changed the dimension. And you'll find you don't want to go back to the old one. Because it's really interesting and it's fun. And it's a little bit like a magic trick. There's always a little bit of, besides mystery, there's a bit of mischief in there as well. That amuses everybody, and it keeps you happy and keeps you alive.
Yeah.
And that's the life that we're all destined for.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to do anything except take one step.
Yeah. It's a very important thing I noticed also in your book was you talk about the consolidation of it. One example you gave is by having a supportive witness when a miracle happens.
Yeah.
And I find that, or also to talk about it when it does happen, to pay attention to it. So I feel we have so much practice in trusting our own ability, even when we fail. But we're so used to, we trust our small little minds because we've always used it to solve things and fix things. And now we're told, just let it be, let it happen. You don't need to know how. And there's a mistrust there. So I like that consolidation idea that you talk about.
Yeah, if we have, we only need one more person and it becomes real.
Mm-hmm.
This is a known fact, excuse me, that if you can share something with someone and get one person to agree with you, it becomes a reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been used for the wrong purpose for many years.
Yeah.
But use it for the right purpose, it's very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And everything grows very quickly just because you have that sense of agreement.
Yes.
And then it grows into something that can take on much, much more than you expected.
Mm-hmm. It's, something else that something else I wanted to see if you can elaborate on as well. And that is, you say the unspecified feeling has no called emotion, has no connection to your personal supercomputer, and therefore remains in the body as reaction. You say, in the past, this unfortunate habit has led to a life of emotional reaction rather than a life of magic and miracles. The allowance of undefined and unknown senses and outputs from the body and all it surrounds will make room for the magic and miracles that emanate from the induced harmony of your personal supercomputer.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's I love it. That's what I love about your book. You can read it over and over, and it keeps revealing things to you. So if you can reveal some more about that for us, now that we have you in person.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I noticed is that everybody gathers up anything that they can't understand and calls it emotion. So we have 45 million emotions.
Wow.
And we all call them emotions. But in fact, we grab it all and react to it. So we have redefined all our connections to the universe as emotion, and then we display it as emotional reaction.
Mm.
So all the good things turn into bad.
Oh.
Everything goes to reaction instead of wait and see what it does. It can be part of a signal that's going to make you feel better.
Mm.
Wait and see. And don't react. And your whole being changes. Because it's the reaction that causes war. It causes war inside yourself. So that the supercomputer is getting cut off because somebody grabbed all our input signals and chopped them off and said, no, they're called emotion.
Mm.
And then they said, no, it's an emotional body. It's this. And they started building things that we have to handle that really don't exist.
Mm.
If you allow all the signals to come straight in and go directly into your system, they will go just like they do for a child. That I think I mentioned, if you have a young child that's only just crawling and you leave the pot cupboard open, they're in there quicker than you can turn around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't know how they did it. But if you watch them, their eyes get bigger and the information goes straight in and they take off. There's no thought about it. It's an immediate action because that's attached to their view of getting in the cupboard. And so the supercomputer switches everything on and they get there quicker than they can normally actually move their hands. So we have the ability to take data and everything associated with it straight into our system without it going through our brain. That's what happens if someone throws a ball at you and it's coming straight for your head. Your arm goes up and either deflects or catches the ball before you can even think.
Yeah.
So where does that come from?
Yeah. We don't pay attention to those things. We think it's normal. We think it's nothing.
Yeah. Well, they're the things that are controlled by signals that are outside of your brain patterns.
Right.
And they detect even from behind. You can feel someone behind you. You can feel someone on the other side of a room.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel if you walk into a room and there's someone not so nice, even though you can't see them, you know they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a field that extends way, way beyond what we can imagine. And if you're game enough to travel that field, you can be everywhere. And you'll appear.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so people will ring up and say, what were you doing at my place yesterday? It happens to me.
Yeah, really?
I am. I had a lady ring me up and said, I don't mind you visiting, but don't do it while I'm driving the car. I want to be able to see through the windscreen.
I hope they offer you tea or coffee when you drop by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of interesting aspects of life that have been hidden.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to hide them. It's great fun.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Okay, another paragraph that I loved is, it is not the song or the singer or the home run that excites your spirit. It is a sequence of events that reveal a sudden recognition of brilliance from your origin and allow you to switch into unlimited mode, surpassing the normal level of your scope and appreciation of everything in the physical world.
Yeah.
Let's talk
And
about that.
you can feel it happen to you, can't you? When somebody starts to sing and they're brilliant, and your whole system comes alive.
Mm-hmm.
You jump out of the chair, and it happens to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really the song.
Yeah.
It's how you've got a sense of recognition of home. And somebody's brought that gift from the origin that you somewhere in your system remember. And it's an excitement that lifts the roof off everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's a very important point, because I feel that there's teachers out there and beautiful things that we hear or see, and we tend to put it out there. The art piece or the beautiful statement or phrase are being celebrated instead of the inner recognition, which is our origin. So,
Yeah.
we got the shoe on the wrong foot. Yeah. That's a very important point that you bring out. I really like that.
And they're only pointing to what we already do to show that we are magic.
Mm.
And we're beyond what we think we are. And we do all these magic things and hide it. And then say, no, I didn't do that. But
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
You achieved the impossible so many times. And you just smile and keep going. And if you can do that every day, it's a fabulous life.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I probably didn't write down in there, but celebration.
Mm.
When you celebrate anything, it's actually logged away in your system as complete. You don't have to do it again. So you celebrate how far you've come. You don't have to go back and do it again because it's logged as complete.
Mm.
And you can get on with your life. So regularly celebrating whatever you want, whatever step you've made. It's like putting a rung in the ladder.
Wow.
It's simple, isn't it?
It's very simple. Yeah. I love the simplicity. I know it takes a while to get used to simplicity after living in a world of complexity, but it's very rewarding. It's I truly feel that simplicity is where it's at. And I believe that that's what the most potent thing in your book that really grabbed me is the simplicity. If it was complex, I don't think I would have liked it as much. I'm not a reader. I don't read much, but it was so easy to read, and it's so simple. What you write and the techniques that you show, if I can even call them that, it's full of simplicity.
Yeah, and having a mini book with no references to anything.
Yeah.
Just lets you read what you wrote.
Yeah. Yeah. The reference is a killer. Yeah. I know my husband Gabori, I think you met him, he had a friend who had an amazing experience years ago. He was in northern what is it, Alberta, I think, yeah. And at night, alone, very dark, and he was in a sports car, a low sports car, and a huge moose came by and went right over him, and it chopped the whole top of the car and just barely grazed his head.
Wow.
And when he tells us the story, he says, "Oh my God, that's such a miracle that happened to you." And I said, "No, it starts to analyze it and explain it away." And he said, but we said, no, that's that moment, because at that moment he was so still, and he was in such a place of peace. He just, like, everything, his whole world stopped.
Yeah.
And when we try to tell him that, that's your origin, that's, he goes, that's your bullshit. And we laugh because, I mean, how do you not see that? Like, the moose could have taken his head off.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's beyond me.
Yeah, there's a lot of incidents that we actually forget about really quickly because we haven't been able to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's important to talk about it right away before too many thoughts and derivative thoughts and more derivative thoughts and analogies come in and more reference point come in. And then by the time you get to talk to somebody, you already have a whole story of an explanation of why it happened and how it happened. And maybe it didn't even happen.
That's true. Yeah.
People sometimes think, I must have imagined that. So here's another one for you. I love this one too. A slight change in our visual structure and a reforming of our value reference, speaking of reference, will allow for continuous access to the reality that can not only produce the unimaginable, but can support it in the physical world.
Yeah, that's real magic. Yeah. And it's all based on allowing yourself to let go and just swing into following your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It changes your value system.
Mm-hmm.
Because you find you can't focus on the whole value system while you're entertaining your spirit, and it just falls apart, the whole system. And suddenly all the things that you need in the world are different.
Yeah.
And they start to appear by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every standard doesn't feed its way back to money. Every standard disappears because it doesn't have a framework.
Yeah.
And everything's mobile again. So we're living in the flow rather than in the fixed position.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're sitting still, you'll feel the movement. And that movement is what keeps us alive.
Yeah.
That interaction of fields it's the source of our energy system. And it's got to be free to move.
Mm. Yeah. Awesome. So I also understand that you are involved with creating all kinds of new inventions. And you bring in technology from other places, other planes.
Yeah.
One of them, I believe, is plasma technology. Can you tell us about that?
Well, plasma technology was revealed by many people over the years, but recently, Meron Kesh, the Kesh Foundation, he developed many of the things that I'm working with. But besides that, I've managed to use the same technology, they call it, but it's not. It's beyond technology.
Mm.
So you're working beyond technology. And to put it into the words of a scientist, it's a little bit difficult, but it's happening. So we're building, I call mine a power assist, which you plug into the wall, and it changes the level of power, and it actually can reduce your power bill. But it also transmits the plasma into your field and makes you feel really, really calm. And you can work easily. Besides that, we have a plasma beacon that I developed.
Oh.
And it's just oh, we've got one here. Looks like a little me.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And that one's got coils on it, and it stirs the fields in the opposite direction to one another.
Oh.
The magnetic field and the gravitational field. And because of that, it sets a point in the middle where it transmits, because it will go and deliver whatever you need, the demand for your body. Even if you're just feeling a little bit off, it'll settle that.
Wow.
Plus, they're all connected. Wherever I send one, it's connected back to here.
Wow.
We also have healing plates, nano-coated healing plates. Oh, yeah, they're just a little plate.
Yeah.
You put them on your...
With electric tape?
No, that's right.
Okay.
And little wands, little healing wand.
Oh.
And it's nano-coated inside the plastic. That's uniquely mine.
Can people buy them from you? Are you selling those?
No, I'm not selling anything, but I make them for people and really enjoy getting a donation for it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but if you put them on the market, you have to go through all sorts of things.
I see, yeah. So if somebody wants one, they can contact you on your blog or on your website?
Yes.
Yeah.
They can contact us through youngsite.com
Yeah.
or
My email?
email, yeah.
Yeah, I'll post it.
Robert Works. We've got a lot of little things. We've got little, they're like a ping pong ball,
Oh, yeah.
and they're full of Gans water, which is a gaseous nanostate. And they're very, very powerful. You can hold them in your hand and you can feel it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
I also use these to water the garden.
Oh.
You put it in a spray container. We have an old Miracle growth sprayer, and I just take the bottom off it and put a ball in there. And when you hose the garden, it retains the water much better, and it increases the growth.
Wow.
It will also, if you put that in a glass of water, it'll make the water more alkaline.
Oh.
So very healthy stuff. This is a power assist. It's all,
Mm-hmm.
you see there's coils inside it, and it's just a lead that plugs in the wall. So we're doing lots of things.
One for the car.
Oh yeah, we've got a small one like that in the car,
Mm.
and it's reduced the petrol consumption by, I don't know, probably 30%.
Wow. That's amazing.
So most of that was developed by the Kesh Foundation, but I have lots of little changes that I'm
You're working
a lot
on
doing.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand that you write every day, pretty much. And
pretty much.
people can find your writings on your website, and I will be posting your website address and your blog address as well.
Oh, great.
And I read quite a few of your postings. They're wonderful. They're very motivating and very inspiring. I'll just read a few titles that I really love. Listen to the Wind.
Mm.
See, my daughter actually did that when she was a child. She got messages from the wind. Another one is Total Sense of Comfort.
Yeah.
And Your Special World, or Seeds of Advancement. Doorway to the New Dimensions. Just a few. Just wanted to my favorite topics. So, feel
Yeah,
free. Sorry.
they just come out of nowhere. I
Yeah.
just write, and it's like food for my whole being. I just sit and connect, and then allow it all to come through.
Mhm.
Quite often, I don't know what I've written until Barbara reads it back to me.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like it's coming from not from this world, or definitely not from a mind. That's for sure.
No, that's true.
Another dimension entirely. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been so wonderful speaking with you, Robert. Is there any other message or anything you would like to tell our audience before we conclude?
Just that everything is not as it seems. The world is not going down the drain. It's actually changed, but it hasn't appeared yet. But you can feel it, and everybody can feel the joy in that world that's starting to overlay everything every day. So you don't have to be patient. You can take it on right now, because it's all perfect and available to everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. And thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. And I hope you start experiencing, if you haven't already, all the magic and miracles that can happen in your life, and consolidate them and celebrate them. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.